Hello and good evening. Welcome to Bedtime Stretches. Tonight we will be using a yoga mat, a chair that we will be sitting in and resting our legs on at the very end of class. We will be using a tennis ball, and if you do not have a tennis ball, don't worry. It's not the end of the world. We will modify for you. And we will also be using a small towel, so something like a towel that you would find in your kitchen or a hand towel from your bathroom. And without further ado, let's start this Wednesday evening bedtime stretch. Okay, we're going to start sitting in our chair as we always do. And let me adjust this really quick. There we go. Let's take a wide base with the feet, maybe even giving the heels a couple bounces into the ground, feeling grounded. Putting the hands on the knees. And let's just come forward and hang forward for a moment. Feeling the blood rushing towards the brain, maybe feeling the hip creases. If you're lucky, you might start feeling the upper back start to release. And check here to see if you can wave your head and relax the neck. And take a slow roll up. Giving the shoulders a couple rolls backwards, opening up that chest. If you've been on your computer or like me in Zoom and Google meetings, I find that I start hunching to look at my screen. So we're going to reverse that hunching and start opening up that chest with those shoulder rolls. And let's do a couple of arm circles with just one arm. Feeling the twist, the opening of the chest. We will do this again closer to the end of class on the floor. And you'll feel a slightly more intense stretch and reverse that big circle. So right now, you might feel a small stretch, but we're just opening up the joints so that when we do come to some deeper stretches, we can really reap those benefits. Other side, big circles, feeling the twist. You might even feel it in the ribs or the spine. And circle in the other direction. And give that a shake out. Going right into our glute stretch. One leg is going to stay on the ground. The other will cross up and over. Our foot is flexed. Our shin may or may not be parallel to the ground. And we're going to hinge at our hips over our leg. We're going to hold this for a minute, gently opening up the glute. In these classes, I often spend a lot of time on the feet and the legs and the hips, and these are the areas that when you are sitting a lot, or if you are like me and you do a lot of walking or biking, those areas get really, really tight. But if you ever want to target a different area of the body, just type in the chat and I am so happy to adapt the class for your needs as well. I hope this glute is starting to release a teeny tiny bit more. I'm just going to hold this for 30 seconds longer. Remembering to breathe nice and deep, to take this time to start releasing the tension of the day. And you take a big inhale in. And on the exhale, you go just a millimeter further and come out of it. Take a second to feel that leg grounding down. Now it's time to even out. Crossing the leg up and over, we have a flexed foot. The shin may be parallel with the ground one day. If your shin is parallel with the ground, lucky you. And we're going to sit up nice and tall and hinge forward. And we'll hold this also for a minute and 30 seconds. Hello. Hi. Taking a moment to feel the tension of your jaw release, to feel the tension maybe in the shoulders drop down, making sure you're not holding anything extra in the neck or the chest, that you're finding relaxation but also efficiency. Yeah, finding relaxation and efficiency. We're going to hold this for just a moment longer. Oh, you're up on the chair with me. Okay. It's always in this one class. In this class, this stretch class, my cat always likes to misbehave. I swear she's generally a good animal, except for between 8 and 8:45 on Wednesdays. And let's release that leg. Good, maybe find a little shakeout. Into a little side stretch. You can hold the base of a chair if you want, if not even under your hamstring. And we want to scoop one arm up and over. And we'll be in this little side stretch for a few deep inhales and exhales. And on your next exhale, reach a little bit further and come up and out. Other side. Inhale. Exhaling over. And on this next exhale, reach a tiny bit further and come up. One more time each side. Inhale. Exhaling over. And on the next exhale, reach a little bit further and come up. Last time, inhale, the arm comes up. Exhaling over. And on the next exhale, reach a little bit further and come up. Great. We are going to use the tennis ball and do a little bit of a foot release. Yeah. So you can hold on to the chair if you want a little balance. Oh, let me adjust this so I don't cut my head off. There we are. That's a little better. And let's just start by rolling the tennis ball along the bottom of the foot. If you don't have a tennis ball, you can just massage the bottom of your foot sitting down in your chair with your thumbs. Now, the nice thing about the tennis ball is depending on how much weight you give it, you're going to get more pressure. So you can monitor from, almost no weight to really leaning in and getting nice and deep into the bottom of the foot. And from there, you're going to ground the heel, placing the ball under the ball of the foot, the ball under the ball, and we're just going to fan the ball of the foot in and out over the tennis ball. You've made yourself quite comfortable there, haven't you? And placing the ball under the heel of the foot. And the same thing, kind of pivoting right where that heel of the foot meets the middle of the foot. Good. And just a couple more to even it out. Maybe give the ankle a couple rolls. And now I like doing this, just feeling the difference between the two sides. The side that we just worked on my body right now, it feels almost like a flat duck foot. It feels nice and wide. It feels really grounded. And I can almost feel that grounding coming from the whole top of my leg down into the foot. And now let's even ourselves out, rolling out the middle of the foot. And placing the heel on the ground and having the ball under the ball, rotating in and out. So on my foot today, I feel quite tight under my big toe. And there's a tendon that runs under that big toe all the way along your foot. And then it comes all the way up into your calf. So there's a really long tendon. And I can kind of feel it snapping back and forth a little bit. So that just tells me that I have some tightness, that I need to spend a little bit more time focusing on stretching my feet this week. And the same thing, placing the heel of the foot on the tennis ball and just rotating back and forth. And this is also really good if you're naughty like me and do a lot of walking in sandals. This is also really good. Sandals tend to be a little, especially like rubber flip-flops. Those are really hard on the feet. And then just roll it out a couple times and feel that evenness now standing on the legs. All right. We will use the ball at the very end of class, so put that aside. We're going to go into a little calf stretch now. So you can either use the back of your chair for some stability, or a wall, or a desk, or a table, just something to help hold the weight. You don't need to do extra work. This is the end of your day. Stepping one foot back, playing with maybe bending and straightening that leg. And we're going to hold this for about a minute to a minute and a half. Another great moment to find points of tension and release, like in your jaw. It's interesting how tension just always creeps into those habitual places. And like me right now, I'm going to remind myself that my shoulders don't need any tension. I'm going to now concentrate on my back leg. I'm going to see if I can find a long line of energy from the top of my hip all the way down. See if I can, by just slightly shifting how I'm feeling and sensing my leg, can I get deeper into the stretch? What happens if I release the front of my ankle? I relax my back foot. Can I get more into the calf then? And remembering that you're breathing through this whole thing. So many things to think about. And you don't have to think about everything all the time. If you remember just once to release your jaw, it's a pretty big success. I'm going to take a big inhale in. And on the exhale, we transfer the weight into that front leg and gently bring that other leg back in. Taking another moment, seeing how your legs might feel a little uneven, but seeing how this leg is starting to feel a little bit more grounded, and now we even it out. Finding that nice long line through the body. Finding points of tension and reminding yourself gently that they are allowed to relax. You like this chair right now, okay? The class mascot. And taking a moment to imagine that nice long line of energy from the top of the hip all the way down, seeing if that can help you release the front of the ankle, maybe relax the bottom of the foot. I notice that if I relax the bottom of my foot, I can get deeper into my calf. All right, and we take a nice big inhale in. And on the exhale, you transfer the weight into the front leg and come up to stand on your 2 feet, feeling nice and even. We're going to come down to the mat for a little bit of a hip flexor stretch now, and psoas stretch. The psoas is a really complicated muscle. So if you kind of like poke, let's say poke your belly button, and if you were to x-ray poke your belly button all the way to your spine and touch the front of your leg right near the hip crease, and now bend, and you can see how your two hands come closer together. That's the muscle line of the psoas. So if you think about it, if you're walking or running or biking or sitting, we're in this position when we're sitting, your psoas is in contraction. So we are going to undo all of that sitting, biking, running, walking, stairs, you name it. So we have one laying in front, the other is bent under us. We're going to take a moment to tuck the seat. I almost think of squeezing my glutes, coming forward. And depending on your flexibility, you might only come forward a centimeter, and that is enough. Your body will tell you when you can go a little bit farther. And we'll just hold this one for a minute. And for the second half of this, if you want to get that stretch a tiny bit deeper, the same arm that is the same side of the body that the leg is backwards, you can bring that arm up and over. Remembering to continually tuck that pelvis, coming forward. And we take a big inhale in. And on the exhale, you go a little bit farther and you come back. Other side. Tucking that tail and coming a little bit forward. And we'll hold this for a minute as well. And if you want to go a little tiny bit deeper, you can bring that arm up and over. And you take a big inhale in. And on the exhale, you go a little bit further and you come back up out of it. Great. We are going to move to our mats. I need you to move. I know your life is very hard. And we're going to go into the hamstring stretch now. It's going to adjust that a bit. We're going to use our tea towels, fold it so that you have it nice and long like this. This is our, what we're going to call our makeshift yoga strap, all right? Oh, hi. And I want to lay down before she gets comfortable on the mat. There we go. And we have our tea towel just around the middle of the foot. Let's take a moment to just bend and straighten that knee. Hello. Bending and straightening that knee. just starting to gently open up that hamstring. And take a moment here to start stretching. You can try bringing the leg just a little over your midline, so the middle of the body, and you'll get a nice stretch on the outside of the leg. Bringing it back to center. And we will go into our little resistances. So we take an inhale in, and on the exhale, we resist. It's almost like you're trying to push your leg down to the ground. And you hold that resistance. And we take an inhale in. And on the exhale, you release the resistance and you bring that leg a little bit more forward. You take an inhale in. And on the exhale, you resist. And on the next exhale, you release and you bring the leg a little closer to you. Inhale. And on the exhale, resist. And on the next exhale, you release and bring that leg a little bit closer to you and let it float all the way down, feeling that new length in that leg. And now let's even it out. Bringing that tea towel around the other leg and just taking a minute to bend and straighten that knee, gently opening up that hamstring. And just coming into a gentle stretch, whatever your body needs. Try crossing it over the midline, getting into the outside of that leg. Remembering that we're just stretching our hamstring. You don't need to hold tension anywhere while you're doing this. You're allowed to release your jaw. You're allowed to release your hips, your feet. And we take a big inhale in. And on the exhale, you find that resistance. And on the next exhale, you release and you bring that leg a little bit more forward. Inhaling in. And on the exhale, you resist. And on the next exhale, you release and bring the leg a little bit more forward. Last time, inhale. And on the exhale, you resist. You inhale And on the next exhale, you release and bring that leg a little bit closer to you. And you let that come down, giving the legs a little shake out. Good. Coming up, getting into the middle of the legs now, bringing the legs as wide as you can, sitting up nice and tall. I like to think of, I have two imaginary walls that my feet are pressing into, so I'm really activating and stretching at the same time. And I crawl my fingers forward, placing the hands, the forearms. If you're really flexible, maybe you have your chest on the ground. That would be crazy. And we're just going to hold this for a minute and a half today. Remembering to breathe deeply, seeing if you can release points of tension. So I'm going to tell myself to release my jaw. Maybe I can find a more efficient way of holding my head on my neck, not having it duck forward, but maybe giving my chin a little tuck so that my muscles are supporting my neck and I'm not just hanging and slouching. Remembering that the hips can open up and release. We take a nice big inhale. And on the exhale, crawl back up. Slowly bring the legs in. Maybe just give everything a little wiggle out for a second. Great. We are going to do the front of the hips one more time. And we're also going to do one more glute stretch. We're really focusing on the legs today. And then we'll get into the back and arms. So coming back to the front of the hip, the exact same thing we did. One leg in front, tucking the tail and coming forward. And just see, now that we've stretched out the backs of the legs, the middle of the legs, we've stretched the fronts of the legs. I wonder if we can go a little bit deeper. Continuing to reinvent the tucking of that pelvis and the small shift forward and opening up of that hip flexor psoas area. And you take a big breath in. And on the exhale, you release. Other side. Tucking that tail and coming forward. And we take a big breath in. And on the exhale, let's shift a little bit deeper. And we come out of it. We go right onto our back. Almost the same stretch at the very beginning of class, but now we're just doing this on our back. So we're creating that shin goes over the knee, the foot is flexed. And we're just going to grab onto the hamstring, feeling the glute open up. And when we're doing it on the back, it's nice because you can kind of rock back and forth, getting into a little bit more of the fibers in that glute area. And we will hold this for a minute. This version of the stretch is really nice because not only are you bringing the legs towards you, you have gravity gently pushing down on you as well. This is a stretch that I don't do often enough, but I always, when I do it, I always remember how much I love it. Then we're going to take a nice big inhale in. And on the exhale, just release down, switching legs. Oh, and the same thing, playing with rocking back and forth with this leg, gently getting it to open up. And taking note of how different your two sides are. I notice that my right side is tighter, but my right side is also stronger. My left side tends to be a little bit more flexible, but my left side is not as stable. So we always hear about the strong side or the weak side, but then at the same time, you also have a flexible side and a slightly less flexible side. And often, your strong side is the side of your body that's a little tighter. And we take a big inhale in. And on the exhale, you let that release. Good. All right. Getting into the twist as promised from the beginning of class. We bring one leg up. We fold it over. Two hands meeting each other. We're going to do 3 to 4 large circles in one direction and 3 to 4 large circles in the other direction, feeling the twist, feeling the chest open up. Here we go. Taking a moment to pause in different areas of this little circle where your body needs a little extra stretch. And when you're ready, going in the opposite direction. Oh, this one's making me yawn. And when you're ready, come onto your back. Bring the other leg into your chest. Bring it over. The two hands touch each other and 3 to 4 big circles in one direction and 3 to 4 big circles in the other. And when you're ready, go in the opposite direction. Taking moments to pause if you feel a good stretch. Good. And when you're ready, gently bring yourself to sitting. And we will come into the last moment of class, getting your chair prepared. Have your tennis ball nearby. And if you don't have a tennis ball, don't worry. If you want, you can always use your little towel to cover your eyes if you want to spend a moment to meditate. That's always an option too. And we just bring our calves onto the chair. So we're not doing any of the work. The chair is doing the work for us. Yes, it is. And we take an inhale in. And on the exhale, pressing the palms into the tops of the thighs, feeling the back elongate along the floor. Hands behind the head, taking an inhale in. And on the exhale, elongating the head along the floor, grabbing the tennis ball and placing it just under the head like a little miniature pillow. Having the hands either wrap around your body, opening up that upper back into the ground, having the hands cactus open, opening up that chest, or bringing the hands near your side with the palms up as just a little bit of a relaxation. You can close your eyes here and let's take 5 deep breaths. We inhale and exhale. In and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. You can either remain in this position for as long as you like, scanning your body, releasing the points of tension, seeing if we can break the little tension habits. And if you are done for the evening, remove the tennis ball from under your head. Bring the knees into your chest. rock onto one side, come up to sitting. Thank you so much for joining class. Have a lovely evening, sleep well, and I will see you on Monday morning at 10 a.m. for Pilates.